Welcome. Good afternoon. I think we can say good afternoon. Yeah, breakfast is over. It should be over. So we will talk about how to address and reach millennials. And before I introduce my counterparts here, and before we go into the details of the topic when it comes to millennials, just a few words about myself. That's me, of course. It's obvious. And I work as a freelance consultant for Tourismuszukunft, and Tourismuszukunft is a consulting network in Germany, mainly, operating in the German-speaking countries. And we have to, we have companies to be successful in digital media, and with all the challenges you can imagine when it comes to website, when it comes to social media platforms, when it comes to SEO, SEA, whatever. So we try to help them and to make them successful. And that's us. That's my colleagues. One is here today, and we have each different focus areas, and we have a lot of fun. And we have no office, no agency, so we work from home or we work when we travel. And each year we meet in different cities and in different locations in order to to educate ourselves, to exchange new developments, and just to talk about our work and what will be the next big thing in tourism or in digital tourism. So, but now, and we have some clients, of course, but I will skip that because I think you know that, maybe you have seen that slide before because my colleagues were speaking before me. So, but I'm not alone today here. We have these beautiful guys, and of course they are millennials. That's the reason why they're here. And I think, I thought it would be a great combination to speak about millennials in a way you do this as a marketeer. You're just focusing on a target group, and you talk about the different aspects of millennials, of the generation, and what to call them and how old they are. And the other thing is to have them here and to speak with them directly and to ask them what is important for them when it comes to marketing, what is important when it comes to to reach them, to get them engaged. And another perspective is, and that's why they're here, and for example that's why is Carina here from Travel Run Play. They're both bloggers, influencers, nowadays we call them influencers. No, I'm quite kidding. Carina has a blog, Travel Run Play, and I think your focus is of course, to travel, but to point out the fitness part, or how to stay healthy when you travel, and how to have a great lifestyle, and how to get engaged with the destination, with the people, of course, but in a way, maybe in another way, in a way to run, through the city and to encounter different places. So Carina is a millennial, but is also someone who reaches out to millennials and who communicates with millennials, and who helps brands to be successful maybe in their communication with millennials. So, and then we have Nina, but unfortunately Nina is not here today because she got ill, and we sent her our best wishes. And Nina is a German travel blogger as well. She has a great Instagram account. She's a photographer, a professional photographer, and she also, of course, has in their community millennials, and that's why we thought it would be a great idea to have her here. But she has to deal with her health, and that is most important, and we sent her our best wishes. And then we have Mike, and Mike is a videographer, photographer, was a biologist, I think, yeah. And
hello.
he is a... Huh?
I was testing to see if it worked. It didn't work earlier.
Oh, it didn't work. Okay.
I've got it covered up back.
So video is better. It's a better topic to go through. And yeah, and Mike is it's of course quite successful on YouTube, and we did a lot of campaigns together for different kind of topics in regards to Germany, the travel destination, for example. And both of them has really funny kind of things to tell, or because Carina, for example, has a broccoli costume, yeah, so which is maybe a kind of millennial kind of thing. I don't know. We will ask you later. And yeah, and she can open up a beer bottle with an umbrella. Was it that? Easily, okay. Yeah, and Mike told me a funny story from yesterday when he was at his Airbnb, yeah. And you waste all the energy. So really selfish, as we millennials are, you know, really selfish. You waste all the energy, the whole night working for your YouTube channel, you know, in order to get the content out there. So, but these are some funny facts, but yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the end first. I was called rude and messy on a Airbnb review from my Airbnb host. I'm Canadian. I'm not that rude, am I?
No, no, Canadians are the politest people in the world.
I landed 2 days ago in Berlin, and I looked for a decent Airbnb spot, something kind of cheap, because I landed at 8, got there at 9, was leaving the next morning at 8 or 10 or something. And so, just a cheap spot. So I found this spot on Airbnb, and I arrived, and it's this old guy, which was fine. He lived in a tiny little apartment, and I walk in, and he basically said, here are your slippers, the floor is cold, don't walk too heavy, and here's your room. And that was it. So I came from Mexico City, it's where I'm living right now, and there's a 7-hour time difference, so my midnight is, anyway, middle of the day over there. So it was 3 a.m. and I'm there working on my computer, and I get a knock on the door, and this man comes in, and he goes, you're wasting all the power. You're using excessive power, and you should be sleeping, you silly boy. And then slammed the door, turned off the lights, and then left me that terrible review the next day.
And now you have a kind of stereotype with you, you know?
I know.
You waste all the energy.
And I'm rude and messy, apparently.
Yeah, you're rude and messy,
There was
exactly.
a bottle of water next to my bed. I drank it, and in the review it said it wasn't for me.
Don't do that again.
Anyway.
So why we are telling you that? Because there are a lot of stereotypes when it comes to millennials. And the first thing is to find the exact dates, you know, the exact time frame when millennials were born. And we here have a sentence or you know, a time frame from The Guardian between 1980 and the mid-1990s. So God thanks, I'm in. So 1980, I'm a millennial. Thank you. So, but here I'm out, you know, 1982 and approximately the 20 years after. So there are really different kind of, you know, dates and time frames when it comes to millennials, and there are even different kind of names when it comes to millennials. And for example, in Sweden, they call them the generation curling. So, and when I first read that, I thought, okay, curling, has that something to do with the hair? I don't know. It's a little bit strange, you know, but maybe, you know, that's another stereotype. All the millennials have curling hair or whatever. But to be honest, it has to do, or it's referring to the sports, curling. So the parents were clearing all the obstacles out of the way of the millennials so that they have a really nice childhood, you know. They do not have to cope with any difficult situations or whatever. So that's why it's generation curling in Sweden. And then we have generation serious in Norway. And this is a little bit related to generation maybe in Germany, because in Germany and in Norway, you know, this kind of generation is considered to be a little bit overwhelmed by all the possibilities they have. They are not so clear about their future or what to, you know, what to expect and what to do when it comes to work, to their career, to their lifestyle, whatever. So they're generation serious. And then we have the generation Jean-Paul II. You know, that all the names for the millennials, Jean-Paul II, because according to this quote in The Guardian, Jean-Paul was their pope, and when he died in 2005, I think, all the young people had t-shirts with Jean-Paul II, you know, and they were really committed to Jean-Paul II. And then we have, of course, Generation Y, and we have the generation of the me, you know, associations with the millennials, and Y it's in UK and Australia, and me is in the US. And you see here the Time magazine, which was quite famous, with a really famous article. And millennials are lazy, you know, they are narcissistic, they still live with their parents in the basement, you know, they, you know, can't figure out what they really want, and will they or why they will save us all, question mark, whatever. So, and you know, funny it is, there's another quote or another, you know, statement. I see no hope for the future of our people if they depend on the frivolous use of today. And what do you think how old this statement is? You know, is it referring to the millennials? Is it referring to another generation? 2 decades ago? 2 centuries ago? What do you think? Any guess? Do you think it's from nowadays, or do you think it's an older statement?
It's an older statement, for sure.
For sure, yeah. It's from the 8th century BC.
That's a long time ago.
It's from Hesiod. It's a Greek philosopher. So why I'm telling you that is because there are always stereotypes about the young people. There are always these kind of, you know, thoughts. You have the generation who tries to figure out the world, who tries to, you know, to get a foot in the world and to make their path. And I think as older as you get, you know, you see the generations in a different perspective. And we should step back from all these stereotypes we have seen here, and from all the stereotypes an Airbnb host is giving you. Yeah, and yeah, we just really have to figure out why and how and in which way we can address and talk to millennials. Apart from all these laziness and selfishness and whatever, you know, the adverbs and the adjectives are there. And there, I think it's an interesting thought when we, you know, come back to Generation Y and you see the why, but I mean the why. Because I think for the millennials and for myself, and I've seen that in many campaigns who were really successful, and in many, you know, meetings where we're talking about this target group, is to ask the why. And you might know this famous sentence from Simon Sinek: people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And this is really, I think, a crucial kind of thing when it comes to millennials. And we will show you some examples of campaigns who definitely answer the why in a way, and who definitely connect to us in a way. And this why means to be authentic. And I know everyone wants to be authentic, you know, and it's kind of word you can't hear anymore, almost. But authentic is, it's really something where you connect to people, and where you know, where you are able to get them involved, where you're able to get the customer involved. And it means to make the customer the hero and not the brand. And as simple as it sounds, at heart it is. So many brands are not able to let go. They always speak about themselves. They always speak about what they have. They never speak about why they do it and why should I buy your product? Why should I buy your, you know, your travel package, whatever it is. So it is not enough anymore to have great communication, to have a great story. It is really important to convince us in a way to participate and to buy your product. And there's another thought maybe in order to start the discussion then. Why is the why so important? And here we have the hierarchy of needs from Maslow. You maybe know that from your marketing studies or from books or whatever. And yeah, the millennials are, yeah, more or less the first generation where the first three pillars here, or the bottom of the pyramid, was taken care of. So there was no big issue, security issue. You know, they grew up in a safe environment. You know, as I said, the curling generation, the parents were, you know, getting the obstacles out of their way, and it was pretty safe. Everything. They're really well educated. You know, they had really good chances to get a great education, to grow up in a social, stable environment, and so on. And maybe that's the reason, you know, they're really concentrating themselves on the upper part of the pyramid. And that's maybe the reason why they ask for the why. It's not enough anymore for them to be satisfied in a way. And of course, they created their own hierarchy of needs. And, you know, yeah, most important one. So that's a kind of new Maslow pyramid, but don't underestimate the connection to the world, and we will talk about this later. But yeah, so I think there are some thoughts here and some ideas how to address millennials and how to do it differently. And I'd like to start with a campaign from Patagonia. Patagonia is, you know, producing clothes for outdoor sports, surfers, climbers, whatever. And they're really, you know, they're really a sustainable company. They really consider, or they really think through their process of producing clothes. They really think through how the campaigns should be, you know, launched, and how to incorporate the customers. And I think it's a great example to answer the why in a way, to involve the customer and to make it different, when it comes to clothes, which we, you know, can buy from every other brand out there doing great outdoor clothes.
When you're running,
I hope you can hear that.
You're running for 21, 22, 23 hours. A lot of stuff can unravel when you're out there running for a long time.
You put yourself in a situation and you really don't think you're gonna make it, and then somehow you do. And after the wave like that, beer tastes good, food tastes good.
These rugged mountain environments are not made for life. You know, you're up there, there's nothing living. There's not even a speck of lichen.
I always say, you know, going for a run clears your mind, but running an ultra clears your soul. I think I've completed 42 ultras and 500-mile races. Running gear is probably one of the...
What they do is they let the customer tell their stories of their clothes. You know, you've seen a runner, you will see a climber, and they have clothes. And their philosophy is, instead of buying new, you know, trousers every month or whatever, repair them. You know, and they have really a department where you can send in your clothes, and they repair the clothes, and then you can wear them again. And with this, you know, wearing them again, you create a story, you create a connection, and these guys are telling the story in the video. And that leads us to our discussion, our hopefully fruitful discussion. And I want to start with Carina. What do you think about the campaign? What is your feeling when you have seen the video?
I feel, well, I'm a runner, so of course I like the video, and I think it feels very authentic. There are real people in this video. There are real people in this video. They are telling a story. I feel I like this video. I think they...
Have you heard about it before?
No, well, I've seen the presentation before, so, but I haven't seen it before. But I liked Patagonia before, but after I've seen this campaign, I was like, yeah, well, this is really underlining the vision I have from Patagonia as a brand that really connects to the people and that wants to have sustainable clothes to help them to help have their clothes out there and repair them, and get a connection to the people who wear the clothes too. So yeah, I really like it.
What was your thought, Ryan?
I like it too. These outdoor clothing brands like Patagonia, like Arc'teryx, like North Face, it's not cheap clothing at all. But I'm going to throw it back a little bit to my experience with North Face before I talk about worn wear. So I do a lot of, I'm a YouTuber, but I got into travel filmmaking first, especially adventure travel filmmaking. And one of the most the biggest adventure film festivals in the world is in Banff, Canada.
Yeah.
So there, North Face sponsors everything. And being a filmmaker and seeing a brand that puts a lot of that money towards helping small filmmakers do these really cool things and tell stories of the world makes me feel very positively towards the brand. North Face is expensive. I can get a cheaper product, but I'll buy North Face because of that. So with worn wear, it's interesting because what they're doing is a bit counterintuitive. They're saying, hey, you can repair these clothes and you can send them in, or also they paired with iFixit, which is a very famous tech repair site if you want to fix your iPhone or something. And they had step-by-step tutorials how to fix zippers, how to fix patches. So it's very selfless of them, very wholesome, very, you know what, we don't really care about every single dollar.
Huh?
Yeah, we're giving. And as far as these adventure-esque people like myself, or like the people in the video, or you as well, Carina, you have those old running shoes that you've had in marathons and trail races. I've got these pants, which have a coffee stain I'm trying to hide. But they've been in 10 countries, you know what I mean? And if someone said talk about these pants, I'll have 100 stories to tell you.
Yeah.
So giving these very passionate people a platform to tell their stories, like making videos, there's also blog posts. Basically, they took all of their very passionate fans who have these pieces of gear, old tents, whatever it be, and gave them a platform to speak. And for us, it's very relatable because we all have those pieces. We all have something in our house, whether you're a traveler or adventurer or not.
And just something to tell about.
Yeah, that you could tell 100 stories about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So before we go to your examples, because I asked them before what their examples are, or what you think is a good campaign, a good thing to get to the customers, I want to ask you some questions. Yeah, maybe a little bit stereotype, but I think it's in a way interesting, and I'm really curious to see what you're saying. So we'll start with Carina. So when was the last time you clicked on an ad online in order to, find something out or to get to a website, whatever?
Well, I really have to think about that. I can't remember actually.
Do you see ads, or do you have a blogger? Or?
No, I see ads, but I usually just scroll over them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm blind to ads.
Mike?
I run an ad blocker, so I don't see that many. I've been running it for probably about 3 or 4 years, actually. So it's a little program you can get, a plugin for your web browser that blocks advertising on most websites. However, the ones that do get through, it's interesting because I do click on some, and that's because they're very hyper-targeted to me. Mm-hmm. So if I'm price shopping camera lenses or some kind of travel gear or something, that'll follow me through different web pages, and sometimes I'll impulse buy or something like that. Okay. But I would say generally I'm quite callous to advertising. And the ones that do get through are usually the ones that I've looked at before, and if that counts as an answer, yeah. Yeah.
And was there the situation that you have seen something offline, which got your attention, and where you see all these adverts or posters or whatever, where you have a hashtag and you have a website, mentioned? Do you go? Is that something which is enticing to you, and then you go to the website in order to find out, or what is it? Can you remember something?
I think for myself, in some flight magazines and airplanes, there'll be a page of this really cool traveler guy packs these 9 things, and I'll rip the page out and maybe look at them later.
But it's a personal story, isn't it?
It's a personal story, yeah. It's not an advertisement.
Not an advertisement, okay. And how is your relationship to social media? Of course, you have to use it, because it's a way you earn money and you do your job. But what is your personal relationship to social media? How would you describe this way of technology and to reach out to people, to communicate with people? Because I saw an interesting presentation some days ago where someone said in the older generations, or in Generation X, before, it was not possible to reach out to people instantly in some minutes, you know, to reach 20 or whatever people. Really, when you have to, when it was your, you know, your time to build up a community, a friendship, relationships to others, to mind-like people, you literally had to go out there, you know, you had to go to some places, whatever. You had to speak to people face to face. And nowadays, in our generation, we grew up with the possibility to make friends easily and to you know, to connect easily. And what do you say in a way that, you know, is influencing you, of course, what you think about brands, what you think about, you know, different things, what you think, how you can contribute, you know, to campaigns or to projects, whatever it is. What is your thoughts about that?
Well, I, of course, use social media every day, every minute, actually. And for me, it's a very wonderful possibility to connect to people that I don't know. And also, of course, to connect to my family and to my friends. And I think the beautiful part about connecting to people you don't know is that you find people that you otherwise wouldn't find in this world, that have the same thoughts and the same feelings as you, because you, of course, are in your social media world. You are in a bubble. For me, it would be running or fitness, and I, through social media and through what my friends like, I see, I find other people who are also interested in fitness or in yoga, and then I can connect to them very easily through Instagram and the message function they now have, and they write me back, and then finally maybe there is a connection. And the funny thing is,
what kind of influence do they have when it comes to your buying decision or brand decision or whatever?
Again?
What kind of influence do they have when it comes to your buying decision, or you know, consider a brand, consider something
the thing is,
you have seen and maybe they have seen as well?
Yeah, so the thing is, through social media, especially Instagram or Snapchat stories, you get a very you feel like you have a very close connection to the people you follow, to the influencers, and they feel like friends actually, and some of them become friends. One of my friends was here, she is now gone. She's a very huge influencer on YouTube, and I reached out to her, and we became friends, and now, yeah, we are friends. Well, but what I wanted to say is that you feel like there's a friend talking to you on a regular basis, and if they say, oh my god, I have this product that I really like, because I really like it, you tend to say, oh well, I'll have a look into that. Maybe you don't buy it, but you can relate to that, because the person you follow says, yeah, well, because she feels like a friend, and she feels like she has the same interests. So also the product or the brand or whatever could be interesting to you.
Maybe we can sneak in with the campaign you think is a really good example. Will you tell us something about it, and then we show the video?
Yeah, sure. It's the Momondo DNA campaign. Maybe some of you have heard about this. For me, it's a very, I really, really like the campaign. There were some rumors that it was staged. Well, of course, Momondo said, no, this wasn't staged. Well, you never know. But anyways, it's a campaign that actually isn't about the brand Momondo. It doesn't say Momondo anywhere, but in the end, of course. And it's against racism, and about connecting the world. And this is something I really enjoy.
So Momondo is a search engine?
Yes, yeah. Momondo is a flight search engine.
Flight search engine,
yes.
And they created this, do you like to add something? No. And they created this really interesting campaign.
I'm proud to be English. My family have served, and we've defended this country, and we've been to war for this country.
I'm really patriotic about Bangladesh.
Well, I am 100% Icelandic, yeah, definitely.
This is a Kurdish wedding with my mom in the traditional Kurdish clothes.
We're just proud black, so that's it.
Yeah, I think we are probably the best country in the world, if I'm honest.
Think about other countries and other nationalities in the world. Are there any that you don't feel you get on with well, or you won't like particularly?
Germany. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Germans.
You might think they're a little bit...
Particularly India and Pakistan, probably, because of the whole, the conflict.
Because I have this side of me that's like, that hates Turkish people. Not people, but the government.
But French?
No. We're just best, it's just fact.
I'm more important than you. I don't know you, but in my opinion, I am strong and I am more important than a lot of people.
How would you feel about taking a journey based on your DNA?
Yeah, I feel very intrigued.
What could you possibly tell me that I don't know?
So do you know how DNA works? So you get half from mum and half from dad, so 50% from each of them, and they get 50% from their parents, and back and back and back. And all those little bits of your ancestor, they filter down to make you, you. I need you to spit in this tube for me. You spit up to the little black line.
That's a lot of spit.
Right, the story of you is in that tube. What's it going to tell me?
It's going to be, oh yeah, you're French, and wait, your grandparents are French, and wait.
100% Bengali.
Solid Iraqi.
I'm Cuban.
You're going to tell me that I'm English, like I've told you?
Jay, can you come down and join us?
I'm a little bit nervous, I have to say.
So you ready to find out your results? Will you read it out to us, please?
Wow, look at me.
Oh my God. Oh, wow. Shit, I didn't expect that.
All of them.
Whoa! No.
Caucasus, which was Turkish?
Yeah.
Eastern Europe, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Greece.
I'm 32% British.
What?
Great Britain, 30%. Can we 5% German?
I'm Irish.
Yeah. So I'm a Muslim Jew.
Great Britain, 11%. Are you sure these results are mine?
Eastern Europe?
Iceland has definitely moved closer to Europe now.
I'm gonna go a bit far right now, but this should be compulsory.
Yes,
there
I
would be
think
no
you get
such
the
thing
idea
as,
because
like,
the video is quite long. But I think the really interesting thing is it's a search engine for flights. And they created a whole campaign about this DNA story. And what they, they try to tell you all the people are connected with each other and they can connect them, with their flights, with finding great travel solutions, great travel offers. And you said, I think because of that, it is so enticing to you because they never mention once their product or once, their brand. Is it on?
Hello. Okay. Hey. Yeah, I think it targets several topics that are very interesting for us millennials. First of all, identity. What's our identity? I think everybody is always searching, but especially us who are very connected to the world. And where's our place in the world? That's a very interesting topic for me, and I think for most of you, if you're a millennial, also, of course. And also, the visual way this campaign is made, because usually those high-end, high-gloss advertisement, and I think this doesn't work for us millennials. You need to see something unique, something you haven't seen before in this saturated world where you have all of the information, all of the advertisement, all of the time, and this is a very subtle and not laid back, but a very subtle way of, showing a brand or showing a story. Storytelling is very important here. You see, the brand is not in focus at all, and to tell the story and through that emotionally connect to the people.
Yeah. And you had before we come to your example, you had another example where you were not so keen about. What was it?
Yes, I won't say the brand. Actually, I don't remember it anymore. That's what's happening. If I see a brand that's super high-end and everybody's always the shiny white teeth, smile and having fun all the time, like a family vacation, everybody's like, yay! And you're like, what? And I already
can't remember the name.
No, I can't even remember the brand. They were asking me. Yeah, they were asking me for a cooperation to work together, and I was like, no, I just can't relate to that. And I can't tell my users or my followers, hey, look at this. This is nice, because I don't think it's nice.
Yeah. Would you say, you feel connected to that example as well?
I had seen the presentation, but we didn't include the videos beforehand, so I had never seen that before. But it was absolutely beautiful because, like you were saying, a lot of doing some branded work now, as influencers do, if you throw a lot of logos in the beginning, it really distracts from, at least on video, distracts the audience watching the videos. In this, people are going to watch the end. It's very, very, very powerful, and there'll be the company in the description. And I think what happens is you watch something like that and you're very powerfully moved, and then you see the logo at the end, and you'll check out that logo. But you have to instill that emotion first for people to care and show them that there's very good things being done here.
Yeah.
Before people will actually care.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And how would you say is the why? You know what we're talking about. How is the why important for you? You know, it could be. There are different ways to answer that question. Why you're doing something. So you can present it like Patagonia. You know, you have really an interest to make the world better, to make the world a better place, to product sustainable products, produce sustainable products, or to just connect in a way people with such a campaign. You know, to show that we are equal and to let down the stereotypes. What is it? What would you say, or maybe you have another sample except of that, what we'll see in a minute. Answer in a way that why. You know, whether it's that for you important to get answered when you have a brand or when you make a consideration.
Yeah. So the why being answered in that video. So I think it was a very smart move by them to put this together, because it got a bunch of people from all over and showed them the background. And I think everybody wants to know their background. And so for me, it makes me curious to know, hey, maybe I have a little bit of Eastern Europe in me. I have no idea. I know that my 2 generations ago I was from Scotland, one of my parents, and the other half we don't know.
Yeah.
And so seeing this is very intriguing to me, and it makes me curious to check out the brand and how it was made. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a very clever move of them was also that this DNA journey is not just about this video, but you can also go to the page and do your DNA test yourself. Cool. So you can, this is like, you see the video, you click on a page because of course you want to know where you come from. And then there's also Momondo on that page, of course, and then this is the next click. But you're so into this campaign and you think, hey, this is very cool what this brand does, and I want to support them because I feel like, hey, they have the same or a very good mindset that I also want to promote or that I want to support.
Definitely. And but I meant the question also personally, apart from that video. When you try to get, when you try to buy something, or when you search for something, or, what is it, what gives you the connection?
Why do I do it? Why would I buy it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of personal need. One thing I really, really love doing, and is that my phone? Oh no, my baby. My phone just fell. No, one thing I really love doing is buying things on Indiegogo and Kickstarter. And I don't really know, well, I do know why, but it doesn't seem like a smart thing to do, because you buy something and you don't ever know when you're going to get it. And sometimes it doesn't even get funded, so you spend money and you just get the money back. But the beautiful thing about buying things on Kickstarter, as a bigger example, would be because you get to see the story behind it. So I spend $50 on this cool flashlight that I can do all these cool travel things with, but I mean, I would like that, but the cooler thing is this is something brand new, and they're posting all the information about it. You get to see the creators, you see them talk about the product. There's a community, they're all suggesting things, and I really, really, really like that. And
you see the persons behind
see the faces, see the people. And even if your brand is a logo, like most brands are, you can still make it a bit more transparent. And in our generation, you have to have transparency. People expect authenticity, like you said in the beginning. And if you don't have that, it's just another logo that they don't care about their people.
Yeah.
But now if you can visibly see that the brands care about their people and they want to do cool projects and help people, that's the why right there. That's why a lot of these influencers on YouTube are doing so well, or any video platform, is that you can see them, they're there every day, they show you who they are, they're authentic, and if they sell something, you'll buy it if it's $5, $10, or maybe even more, right? Because you develop a relationship. But you can't develop a relationship with a logo. You need a face, you need a personality, and that's really one of the most important things.
I think that transparency is a really important point here, because it's the number one thing when it comes to workplace, you know, to choose an employee for millennials, is that that they are transparent, you know, in a way that they give you feedback, that you provide you the development, further education, a chance to improve, you know, and to you really say what you want. And I think that's maybe the same with marketing, because as you said, you know, there are a lot of brands out there which have, which have a great brand, you know, which have, beautiful websites, beautiful images, beautiful videos, whatever. But when you ask them one question, in a, maybe in a direct contact, or maybe in a way, okay, I'm interested, but now I want to know more, then many of them failed to give you that answers. And I think it's really maybe this kind of, there's this other sentence, stop doing marketing at people, doing marketing with people. So it's really the thing, it's not enough anymore just to send something out and to be there. It's really important to, to answer questions in a way to show the people, to show why you're doing that, what is your idea behind it, what is the process, whatever it is, what is your goal for the future, any kind of information, what makes you a little bit more personal in a way. I think especially in destination marketing, you have to say, of course, I look for places. If I want to go to places, I of course want to see beautiful natures and nice hiking or running trails. But then, well, first of all, I want to meet people. I want to get into the culture, and I want to get the essence out of the country where I'm going. I want to connect. I really want to feel. I want to see something or feel something that I don't have in my home. And I think this is what destinations really are not failing, but they're not there, of course, targeting or showing all the nicest attractions or statues or anything. But for me, and I think for a lot of millennials, really the people are more important than any statue you can see. Because when I'm old, I can also go to that country and look at the statue, because it might be still there, maybe. But the people, those are really, use your people to promote your destination, because this is beautiful. Get the connect. So maybe we should jump over to your example.
Next example.
Can you introduce it a little bit before we show you the video?
Do I need to introduce it? Yes.
Yeah.
So the next video is by a guy named Zach King. And Zach King was a very famous Vine star. Vine was a 6-second video sharing platform. It's now kind of bit the dirt, but it was Zoom, super famous, and now it is non-existent. But Zach got famous because he made really fun videos that are very, you'll see, it's almost like magic, but it's not magic. You'll see in a sec. But basically, I love this because he collaborated with a company called Click, and they made an advertisement, a Christmas advertisement for this company, and this is a really good example of how this brand worked with an influencer. Zach is also very big on YouTube and all these video platforms, and you can see by watching it. You can start it now. I'll keep talking.
Okay.
Yep. You can see how it was using Zach's strengths to be able to make something completely beautiful.
Yeah, the Christmas party. The decorations? Oh man.
Can you guys hear the audio or no?
It's over.
Hear? Yeah.
It's all over.
He forgot the decorations.
Need Christmas bling. Call 1-800-ZACH King?
Yeah, this is Zach.
Hey, Zach, I really need your help. I
called the right guy.
Really?
Switch it to video chat.
Okay.
Hold your phone up.
Where, like here?
Nice. Perfect. Okay, swipe left.
Okay. Oh, hey, Zach.
Hey, good to meet you.
Yeah, how did you,
Hey, so you got 20 minutes.
Yeah. Epic Christmas party, 20 minutes.
Cool, I can do it in 6 seconds.
Really?
No, bad joke, let's go.
So, how's this gonna work? Whoa.
Okay. What's next? You ready? Ready. Whoa.
Wow. Zach, this looks amazing.
We did pretty good, huh? Yeah. Hey, what do you think about adding a few more candy canes around the back, Elliot? Elliot? Elliot?
Elliot? Yeah. Yeah. The decorations?
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for watching the video. We really hope you enjoyed.
And then at the end, it's a little thank you from Zach and thank you from the CEO of Click. So this won quite a few awards in online video and advertising. And the cool thing was that I think the world of YouTube is a bit confusing for a lot of people because you might take a look at the most famous YouTubers in the world and you might see their content, you might be like, what? Sometimes, because the thing about YouTube these days is there's some great content there, but a lot of it is very personality driven. And as these video platforms mature, like YouTube and Facebook, they kind of find their niche. And right now, YouTube, and 5 years ago, YouTube used to be 3-minute videos are too long, do 2 minutes, 30 seconds. And now the content creators are making 15-minute videos and people watch to the end. The algorithm right now on YouTube is geared towards longer watch time, not view number. So if you make a 15-minute video, someone watches 15 minutes, that's worth a lot more than someone watching 3 views on a 3-minute video, right? 9 versus 15. So these YouTubers are basically personalities, and when you watch something every single day, it could be a bad television show, but if you watch it often enough, you'll start to like it, and you'll develop a relationship with the characters on the television or these YouTubers. I have been following Zach King for a long time, and I saw this when it came out a while ago, and I was immediately intrigued that Zach my buddy Zach, this guy I've never met, but he's my buddy because I watch him all the time, was working with this company called Click, and I checked out Click. What is Click, by the way? Anyone know from that? No one really knows. It's an ad agency that does mostly healthcare related campaigns.
And that's the thing, you know. Again, it's an ad agency for healthcare related campaigns. Mm-hmm. And you would never have thought about such a campaign, you know? Never, ever, anybody, when you, I beg, you know, when you have spoken to the marketing head or whatever, what were you doing for Christmas, you know? Sending out a nice newsletter or a voucher, you know, for getting some ads for 25% off or whatever. No, instead they made that video, you know? And you clicked on it. I did, and I mean, it played to the guy's strengths. It's magic, right? It's all computer graphics and fun stuff, but it's an incredible video. And we still, I mean, peer recommendations have always been #1, but now we live in a world where your friend's recommendations are your friend you've never met. So the millennials' friends are these YouTubers, these online personalities that they've never actually met before, and that's a big change. Because before talking to Carina, say, "Oh, I love these running shoes," I'd get them. But now people are taking information and advice from people they've never met before. That's a brand new thing. Yeah, and that leads me to you guys, you know, because I can imagine you have in your community people asking you questions. You know, maybe where you have been, what you have done, would you recommend that, and so on and so on. And that's exactly, you know, that's the tactical thing about influencers. That exactly the thing about getting the customer involved or getting the people involved. And that doesn't mean necessarily the end consumer. It could be someone like you know, filling in the gap between the company and the end consumer, and you know, providing maybe help, support with content creation, but maybe also with a kind of knowledge. So maybe you can talk a little bit about your community. What is your experience with your community? What kind of questions do you get? What kind of you know, maybe brand-related questions you get, or not? I don't know.
For doing travel video, I feel that it is information doesn't really persuade someone to go to a location, because you can find we're all computer savvy. I can find out who worked with Zach. I can find out, you know, their website. I can find their contact page. I can find out the population of Berlin, easy. But that's not going to convince me to go there. If I find out there's 5 museums per square kilometer in a city, that's not good. But show me the highlights of the museums with some music and a personality that I love, and I'll put that on my list. So being a travel video influencer, that is always my goal, is to show people the emotion of the place and show them through my eyes. But I think emotional content and storytelling is always going to be #1 for video, not so much information. So I get a lot of questions about where I travel to, and or where I recommend to travel, and I always share my content saying, this place I love, check out this video. And because I think a well-done video is one of the most effective ways to get people to go to your country.
So do you ever get really specific questions regarding when does it open or something like that, or is it not the case?
I get a lot of questions about the time of year to go and what I'd recommend to do in these different places. Yeah.
Okay. These kind of things. And
for
Carina?
me, it's the same. I also have a YouTube channel, and I also do visual videos. I don't go to places and say, okay, these are the best 10 things you can do in Berlin or anywhere in the world. Mostly tell stories. I have videos where you sometimes just have music and you show the beautiful places, but you don't say, okay, this is whatever it is. And then this is the first thing I do. But then in the second step, people ask me, where is it? What can you do there? Whatever. But on the very first point, you have to get the people on an emotional aspect. You have to grab them by the heart and make them want to go there, because you just show them the emotion you have in that place. And then in the second step, I get asked questions. Okay, where was this? This is beautiful. And they get involved in it. And this is very important, the reaction to it, especially YouTube. As Catharina said, I get a blog, I get an Instagram channel, but also YouTube. And especially on YouTube, the people are very likely to comment. They want to ask. They want to know where you've been, whatever. And I think this, what you said.
I've got one more example that I just thought of that I can't believe I didn't think about earlier for the example for this.
Yeah.
This is a good example, but Tourism Thailand did a very interesting ad about 2 or 3 years ago, and you wouldn't even know it was their ad, because they created a new YouTube channel with some random name, and they posted a video, and it was called Don't Go to Thailand. Which would not go over well, I think, in a lot of organizations. But it was Don't Go to Thailand. And it was a story, and it looked almost like a vlog of this guy going to Thailand, having his bag stolen and all this stuff taken away. And slowly, you have to really look at it to understand that it wasn't actually a vlog by this guy. Because it was very convincingly done, all shot like portrait style, like shot incorrectly, but it was quite brilliant. By the end, he found his bag, and all the local people helped him, and that video went viral. And there's not very many tourism videos that go viral. And I think it was a mixture of posting on an anonymous account and also making it like an anti-ad almost, like Don't Go to Thailand. Why would you title an advertisement that? But it did really, 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 really well.
Yeah, I remember that campaign.
And I think as a destination, you really have to trust your influencers. This is a good example. actually, because I think not a lot of destination or tourism boards would have been like, oh yes, let's do that. Don't go to Thailand. Everybody would say, no, I prefer the high-end whatever videos. But this is how you attract the young crowd. This like unconventional, surprising videos, and I think this was a really good move from Ren.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely. So, so you would agree that you know, we are on the same page with the why. You know, asking or answer some questions, brand related, product related, maybe story related, in a way that you know, convince you to maybe to read further, to buy someday. I don't know, and what I see from this campaigns is actually stepping back from the kind of brand advertisement what we have in mind from you know, from past years. So in a way, maybe to tell a whole different story, which you know, which maybe guide the user through sub-stories or through maybe specific people in the story, or to, you know, something iconic in a story to the brand. So just to sum it up maybe a little bit, what we have seen from you guys as examples, and from Patagonia. And yeah, just a last question for you. When you will plan your travel, next personal travel, not professional, so how do you plan it? Where do you check out you know, information? Where do you get inspired? And how do you book it? You know?
Yeah, so, I'm a video guy, so I sometimes find a video. Or if I find a blog post about a certain location or place, I will find a video for that.
Do you Google it?
I would Google it, yeah.
Okay.
I Bing it. Who Bings it? No, anyway, sorry. I'd watch a couple of videos, and then I would usually go see how much flights are at some flight aggregator website, and then probably...
Momondo. No, I'm not working for them.
And then probably go to Airbnb to see what the costs are, and then I would book it myself. And for me personally, I like to figure it out when I land. But I think my friends, I know a lot of my friends ask me all the time, where would I travel? So I know they're interested in having pure recommendations. I don't know anybody who would be, out of my group of friends, who would go to a travel agent. I do have some more travel-skewed friends, but okay. I think a lot of us would do it ourselves online, or ask someone with help how to do it themselves online.
Just the last question. Have you ever been on a destination website?
Yours, when we worked together? No.
Tell the truth.
No, I haven't been, I don't think.
I stated like that.
Yeah. Just when I wanted to work with them.
Yeah. I don't
go to check out what they're doing and how I can do it better.
Instagram, 100%, Twitter,
Instagram?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. But not
honestly,
the website.
Instagram, I would think if I'm going to check out a destination and a brand, I would go to their Instagram first.
Huh.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you plan your personal trip? Just the last words. You have, I think,
actually,
1 minute.
I get inspired by my friends who are also travel videographers and travel bloggers, and yes, that's what I do. And then I also check the flights if there is a good connection, and yeah, but I get inspired very visually, so I also check out Instagram and YouTube, especially videos. If I see a nice video, I'm like, okay, I'm going there.
Visual inspiration for sure. Mm-hmm.
So, but it's interesting. No website, but maybe Instagram.
Yes, I don't read anything.
Destination-related content.
No, I also don't read blogs. But I'm a blogger, but I don't read blogs. I'm very bad. But visually, like Instagram, YouTube. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's because it's just easiest to see a quick overview of the place, and so in 10 seconds you can see pretty good representation.
Many things. Yeah. That's exactly. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.